Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council, and one of the things that we do that you've already realized probably from watching this segment is that we like to celebrate other organizations in our community that are doing something in the arts. And I have with me a guy that you have not met before because he ain't from around here. But he is with Invisible Theater, and he is working to produce a show very shortly, and I want to talk to you about it. This is Mike Ostrowski.
Yes.
Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did. You
Good.
did.
I'm
Yes.
proud of myself.
Yes.
Okay, Mike and I have only known each other a few days, and he's here in town because you're friends with the folks that created Invisible Theater, who are Derek Davidson and Karen Sabo.
Mm-hmm.
And Karen contacted me a couple of months ago and said, we got this cool production coming up, and can we share it with the community?
Yeah.
And so that's how you got to be in this spot right now.
Yeah. I'm grateful to be here.
Now talk to me, Mike, about number one, where are you from?
I'm from a small town in Ohio, Ashland, Ohio.
Okay.
It's about an hour south of Cleveland.
And that's where you're living?
No, that's where I grew up. And then from there, I went to school in different places in Ohio, and then I went to Manhattan and lived for a little while, and then I got a job at the Barter Theater up in Virginia, and was there for about 12 years. And then I wanted to dive into TV and film, and so I ended up moving to New Mexico for a little while to work on that. There's a lot of productions in New Mexico, actually, and Breaking Bad is shot there, and things of this nature that people know about. And then I recently moved to LA.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot of running around, but this show is something that I worked on with Derek and Karen actually last year.
You met them when you were at Barter.
Yeah. I've known Derek since college. He was a graduate student when I was an undergraduate. So we've known each other for a long time. Yeah. But then Derek did end up working at the Barter as well, and as did Karen. And so we created this piece last year and put a production on it, a production of it up here in Boone. And but it was a much longer version, and we're going to start taking it around. We're taking it to New York after Boone, and then I'm going to take it. I just found out I'm going to take it to LA in November.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, that all worked out.
That was still in the works last time.
Yeah, so that was solidified. So we're excited about that, and so it's a 60-minute version of this one-man show called Groundwork.
And let's talk about that a minute now. It was your brainchild.
Yeah. I grew my first vegetable garden in Abingdon a few years ago, about 5 years ago, and it was the first time I'd done anything like that, and so all these things happened as a result of the putting of hands into dirt, and I kept thinking, since my mind was already kind of, theatrically motivated, right? Like I was like thinking of storytelling all the time, that there's a ton of stuff going on in this experience that was worthy of a play. And so I kept thinking about it, and then finally I shared this idea with Derek about 2.5 years ago, maybe 3, and he loved the idea, and so we kept talking about it between the two of us, and then he put pen to paper. I gave him all these stories of things that happened to me, and then we both crafted it into a play. So it's semi-autobiographical because a lot of this stuff happened to me, but then we formed it to create a story that we hope generates new meaning,
so
that's cathartic.
Story.
Yeah, it's its own thing. It's its own world.
Now, Derek is a playwright.
Yeah.
And so that was an obvious and a very good move on your part.
Yeah, I have no business trying to do what he can do.
You use your strengths, he uses his.
Yeah.
When this production is shared with the community, he's not going to be on the stage.
Right, it's going to be me. He'll be there. He'll just be there because he's directing it as well. So his hand is all throughout it, and beautifully so. And we're excited about it.
That's a great partnership.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I hope it lasts a lifetime. And Karen is wonderful. She's the artistic director of Invisible Theater, and so she's producing it.
She's also your publicist for this
She's
whole
my
thing,
publicist.
She's out there making sure everything gets done.
Go, Karen Sabo. And so we're excited.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about this show a little bit deeper. You were telling me more about it a while ago, and how what am I going to see when I come to see this?
Well, the character's name is Paul O'Malley, and Paul thinks that he has figured out the solution to everything. Every problem on the planet, internal, external, climate change, everything.
I know people like that.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not necessarily the most pleasant people.
Well, I think Paul's pretty pleasant. But he thinks he's figured it all out and that everything can be solved by growing your own vegetables. So he's very passionate about this idea, and he has asked people to come to this space, so the theater and the audience who comes, you, hopefully, and to share with him his ideas on how this works. And so in his attempt to proclaim the way, he finds himself stumbling along the way. And more things are learned by him than he would have thought. The evening doesn't go as planned. So it's more than just a lecture. It's a full-on dramatic story with the journey of this guy.
And you are the entire show. It's a one-man show.
Yeah, yeah. And the audience is part of it because the people that he has summoned and requested to be there this evening are the audience.
Okay.
So I'm talking to the audience the entire time and using them in the storytelling. No one has to get up on stage though. It's very low maintenance for the audience.
That's great.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid to come.
No, don't be afraid. No fear. No fear.
Now, I was really interested in what you and I were talking about before we started taping this, about what you've been doing the last few days. You've been in town a few days.
Yeah.
And the show, we're taping this, by the way, several days before the actual production. So before the actual performance. So he's got several more days to do what you've been doing,
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
4 more days counting
so
today,
let's talk about what you've been doing. We were talking about what we'd done over the weekend because we saw each other Friday and this is Tuesday. And you're talking about what you spent in some ways a very solitary weekend. Yeah.
Derek and I have been re-rehearsing the play, and we've cut the play down to make it from 90 minutes to 60 minutes. And so we've had to reblock it because the space we're using in Boone this time is different. And then we're taking it to New York City that has a much smaller space, so we're tailoring it to that. And the space in LA is also smaller. But I've had to relearn it, and we've cut it, so I've had to relearn those cuts, removing text from my head. And then we've reblocked it, we've improved it, and we're really excited about it. But
define block.
Oh, thank you. Blocking is a rehearsal term where you decide where you are on stage at any one time. Like if we were in a play right now and we were blocked to be in this setting, it would be I need to sit here and you need to sit there, and then I would get up to go get something. That's my blocking. So we've re-blocked the play to improve it. And what we were talking about earlier was Derek was out of town, and so I was on my own going over lines. So I spent about 8 to 10 hours Saturday and Sunday each day going over the script on my own. So we were talking about how it is a true solo show because I'm on my own going over lines. So if you see me walking around town mumbling, I'm not crazy.
I was going to say, what you basically did was you spent the weekend talking to
Talking to myself. Yes, so you're welcome. You're very welcome.
Well, I think that's fascinating. Now, you do this, this is what you do for a career. You're an actor.
Yeah.
So how much time do you spend doing that kind of thing? How much time does an actor spend by themselves, talking to themselves, basically, teaching themselves the production? You know what I mean?
Well, it's different for different people. I have friends that have photographic memories, and I love them, but I hate them because they can do it very quickly. They can read the lines that they need to learn, and pretty soon they got it. I'm not that way. It's always taken me a lot longer to learn it, and I always get it done, but it takes me longer. So it depends per person, but it's a significant amount of time because you need to do your job. You need to get those words in your body, and that's the work. And then the doing of it is often a smaller amount of time, especially for film because there's not much rehearsal. So you need to prep the stuff before you come in, and then you do it, and they may rehearse it a little bit, but then they shoot it and it's done, they move on.
Yep.
Plays, plays, if it's a long-running play, you can rehearse it for 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes more. And then if it's a long run, you get to do it for a long time, and then the rehearsal time is smaller.
Well, now I think it's interesting, too, that you've done this play in a very long format. Now you're cutting it back, and I would be really tripping up over that because I would want to go off into things that were in the first version and that aren't there anymore, and I would have, it'd have to really focus to know what was. Now, how do you make it to where that you don't have to totally just, is it just by doing it over and over?
It's doing it over and over again, and also there's techniques of learning lines so that you're not just learning the words on your page. So I'm not standing in front of people reciting lines that, like, I'm not imagining the words on the page when I'm talking. I'm actually attempting to do something. It's active. And so you're also memorizing the action that's married to the words on the page. And if you do that really well and with a lot of integrity, it makes it a lot easier.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's it's shockingly deep. Like it's anyone who has a particular craft, right? Anyone's whatever job you're doing, if you're not doing that job, there's always a lot that's hidden that you don't know about,
Well, in every job, there's some automatics. I mean, you get to where you do things without thinking about them. Is that the way you get to where you're on the stage? I mean, does your mind wander when you're performing, or do you have to stay very, very focused on it?
The goal is to not wander. The goal is to make yourself so busy with the activity of the character that you don't have time to worry about such things. And if you rehearse it well enough, then you've also rehearsed in, if something goes wrong, how you can pick the ball back up and solve it, because people make mistakes, and so do characters. Like Paul will make a mistake, and so he just has to be allowed to solve it, and that's real.
That's
so
cool.
It's kind of a win-win.
See, I think this is very interesting because not being an actor, just the parts that people don't think about.
Right.
When you sit back and you watch something, no one's thinking about all this that goes into it and all the components that are hidden there that really make it what it is. And I think it's very interesting, and I hope the audience is finding it just as interesting.
I hope so too.
Now, we want them to come and see this production.
Yes.
So it's going to be on Saturday?
This Saturday, September 13th at 7:30 at the Harvest House. I think the information is going to be on your screen, but you can buy the tickets at the door at the Harvest House, or you can go online, and you can find the link at Invisible Theater's website, invisibletheaternc.org, and theater is spelled with an R-E and not an E-R. So invisibletheatrenc.org.
That spelling of theater has become automatic to me. I guess because I work in the arts. And inevitably I see it R-E, and I just automatically will do that unless I think about it, and change it. So it's interesting how that you just kind of get into those modes. At any rate, so we want folks to come and see it. It's at 7:30.
Yeah, 7:30.
And just to kind of explain a little bit, we've got your whole evening all planned.
Yes.
The Blue Ridge Art Space, where the Arts Council is located, is opening up 4 new exhibits. And we are also having 5 artist demos scattered around in the rooms. And surprise, you'll find out which artists are doing what in which rooms. And you have hors d'oeuvres and wines and so forth to enjoy. And then when you're done, we're at 5:30 to 7:30, so you can just kind of cut out just a tad early, so you get down there for curtain call, and you end up down at the Harvest House, which is just down around the corner from us, and then you can enjoy this production. So I think it's great.
Yeah, great evening. Looks like good evening to me.
I think it's wonderful, and I hope you will be a part of it and be a part of the arts all through Watauga County. Our website is watauga-arts.org. Check information about this and a lot more.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.